Relationships expose us all. It's where we are being challenged and tested. What we can and can't do can't be hidden no longer. Our self-promotion of ourselves that has others fascinated with us is becoming an alienating part of the most friction. Your nonchalantness that got her in your pants are now you don't care. Your high pursuit of her, proving yourself to overcompensation, makes them turned off, and you come off as needy. Whether you are toxic in how you channel things or healthy in how you prioritize another in your life, the truth for both will be exposed of ourselves. Now, if you could expose me to the algorithm, I would really appreciate if you guys would like, comment, and subscribe and help share the channel. It goes a long way. Thank you. I think a great example of how relationships expose us all, and this is for both sides. This is not if you're looking for a video that's just going to praise men and feel a victim, this is not the video for you. In our everyday life, when we're by ourselves, and I'll even say, like, when I'm single and by myself and don't have anyone to rely on, I do kind of live in my own fictional reality. But my fictional reality, because I live it and do it, it's coming closer to a little bit less fictional. You know, it's not completely reality, but it's almost like the book is coming to life. Like that bedtime story movie with Adam Sandler. It's like little by little, you know, I'm having a scene here, a scene there, a page come out here. But it's not fully there yet, right? Where when you're in a relationship with someone, and this could apply if you're in a really deep friendship with someone and you guys are that close, but let's just stick with typical relationships. Real life situations are going to bring the worst out of both of you. There's no way around it. In a lot of ways, it can be good in the long term because you see how people react in real high stress. You know, we all know, like, when you first start dating someone, you're excited. All you see is everything that's different from before, from your previous situation. They could just, whatever your ex, typically in most cases your most recent ex, whatever trait they had that wore you out the most, whether it was their insane bipolar stuff, whether it was their insane insecurity or how they made you feel, whether it's their physical body that turned you off or things they did that just really disengaged you over time. You meet someone and you see those glaring qualities that offset that. You feel great because it's just something different. Whatever brought us our deepest wounds of previous, we are looking for a band-aid to cover it up. And really, unfortunately, when you see people move from person to person, it's really they're trying to cover up a wound that someone else put on them. And they need someone to feel good about themselves. You know, Stephon Diggs is probably a great example. That dude. But in all sincerity, we all have done it. You know, if you've dated enough women, like, not that you're going from girl to girl, but there's probably some times where you didn't give enough time in between and you realize you got yourself into situations without looking at the bigger picture of somebody. They just made you, if you were with someone, is, let's say, I'll typically say, for girls, problems with guys is maybe guys aren't too affectionate. Maybe they weren't too, like, public with them in terms of, like, posting on the internet, or when they were in public, they weren't into PDA, kissing and hugging to that extreme, because some people are uncomfortable with that. And a lot of women are typically, they really want, because they want to be seen that, like, someone wants me. And, you know, that's normal. Like, we all want to feel like someone's not ashamed of us. And that's a good thing. Now, if you go from someone that's not like that, and then what typically happens is, quote unquote, the rebound person is typically someone that is not overly, but they're much more comfortable in that space where, oh, baby, I would hold your hands, I'll rub your feet, I'll kiss your toes in public. I don't give a shit. You know, they'll like everything, especially if you display and give any hints of what your ex wasn't or previous situations and what you really want in someone. then sometimes if you tell someone that, and that's the danger, when you tell strangers that you don't really know yet what you're looking for, you are basically giving them a free ammunition. You are giving them a free pass to just play a part. That's why it's important. It's important to get detailed information about someone in the talking stages and stuff. But you got to be very careful. The reason why it's important to keep some stuff to the vest and make it clear of what you don't want, but don't also make it obsessive about what you want from someone, because anyone can play and portray a temporary role to get some instant gratification. And for most, let's just call it what it is, intimacy, sex for guys. If I know, for example, like if I know that a guy you were with never, made you feel cared for, I would know how to do things to make you feel cared for, even if I didn't really feel that toward you. If my goal was to just get in your pants. I'm not saying if you're sincerely into someone, then you're into someone. You're not trying to play. But for the most part, you don't really know someone to really be into someone yet. That's the funny part. We don't really know anybody. And we give our bodies to people we barely know. And then we hold them accountable. We give our bodies to people we don't even know yet. And then we hold them accountable for wasting our time and stuff, when it's, you both didn't take the time to really get to know somebody. Yeah, you both didn't take the time to really get to know somebody. And so you both kind of deserve whatever happens. And relationships and dating, I guess you could say, expose us, because it exposes that we don't really take the time. We feel that time is short. People are dying at a younger age. People are fast forwarding through life. People are either having kids way too young or way too late. Guys are either all in on women or they absolutely hate them. So it feels like for women, when they find a guy that's into them, they gotta do so much and all this stuff because they're afraid that, oh, I don't know who else will like me. They may lose interest, blah, blah, blah. And, guys can be in the sense of, man, she's amazing in this, and then one small thing and it fucks up everything, and then they hate woman, and then that's one less guy in the market, and then we have this division online. What relationships really, really expose is we don't take the necessary time to get to know anybody. People are friends over the shallowest things. I like baseball. You like baseball. Let's go to a baseball game. It's common interests are cool. But again, how are you going to get to know somebody if you don't get them in environments? And I think that is generational. Like someone like my dad and parents' age, their way, you can notice a lot based off what gifts people give you. Like my parents have gotten me a lot of the same type of gifts, but they still took the time to get a gift. And I'll be honest, I've been kind of a piece of shit. I haven't been able to afford to get people gifts really consistently. But it's a lot of gifts of a hat or a shirt or a jersey or socks and clothing of your favorite sports teams and all this stuff. And that's just how it is. This is what they like. This is what they want. And they obviously know me in a bigger detail. But then with strangers, we'll you get to know their deepest, darkest secrets. And you find out that they once climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. So then you go and get a custom-made snow globe of a girl you met 2 months ago, and you send in a picture online, and then they do a little outline figurine. They put her in the snow globe, and she looks in like, that's me. I'm like, yep. And you'll get the most thoughtful gifts to people you barely know, but you don't even know if she even likes you like that. It exposes desperation. It exposes our biggest insecurities. It feels like the weight of the world is on every decision one person makes or not these days. There's no forgiveness of missteps. And I'm not talking about the serious stuff like cheating and stuff. I'm talking about people mess up. People like forget stuff. People aren't always available and present. Like, that's part of forgiveness and time. We will rationalize, but once we feel attacked, then we get defensive. And when you get defensive and sensitive over who you are and what you're being attacked, now you're creating friction. Now someone feels like they can't communicate with you about your issues, and then it creates that you either argue all the time or you never argue, but there's an obvious issue. And those issues are caused by things before you even met them. And they probably could have been prevented to the level if we just slowed the fuck down sometimes. There's no reason to talk to a girl, text a girl for 2 weeks and ask her to be your girlfriend. That's a mistake I did recently, right? And it's not a mistake because I didn't feel it. Like, I felt like, man, I really am into this girl. She was really into me. But things change when the expectations change. And that's the thing, like, everything was so great until there were expectations. I didn't think about how my situation would affect how she thinks of me when it's a legitimate capacity. Because when you're just seeing someone and it's fun and they know you, like, oh, we're just physical intimacy and we hang out. He likes my stuff. I'm into his stuff. But then when it comes like, hey, let's go do this. And it's like, yeah, money. Oh, okay. Well, let's go do this together. I don't really like to do that. Oh, and then maybe your communication expectation is different. How frequently do you expect to talk to each other without there being a problem? If you both are completely different, if one person wants to text as much as possible one day and the other person is, you know, very selective and they're very like, I need time to myself during the day and all that stuff, that could create. But those are preventable things because you didn't even go through the process of even relatively getting to know people. And what I think relationships expose nowadays more than anything is impatience. We have no patience. We have no patience to just gradually not just rely on feelings and emotions and words of affirmation that are said to us. We fall for it. Not that the person that says it doesn't feel it, but you can have nice words of affirmation for someone. And just because you feel that towards someone, it doesn't mean that you two actually connect. And that's the biggest thing. The chances are, and I think this is just my theory, but I do think when you look at a lot of married couples that have been together for quite a while, and it's going to sound bad, but if you talk to them, they'll be honest with you, and that the person that they're with wasn't the person that they thought they were, off first impression, they were going to be like falling head and heels for and falling in love with and having that. It's typically one, unexpected. It's typically they know each other for a while and it's gradual and it's maybe a friendship or it's just like we're cool with each other. And typically what happens is they see other people and realize this is the constant figure that's in my life even when I'm seeing other people. Not saying they're cheating with that person, but, you know, probably. But not saying they're doing stuff on the side with that person, but when they're around them, things feel right. And they're trying to force what they think they want in someone based off how impressionable the words they say, how they make them feel. But really, long-term, legitimate, everyday, consistent feeling isn't about the highs and the lows. It's about, honestly, the balance in between. And when you talk to most people, very rarely is it this was first glance and I just knew. I mean, they may have had an attraction, but it's typically a gradual process because to place that type of expectation when you're serious and you want something real, a life, a family, and kids, you can't make a lifetime impulsive decision based off just some shit someone says to you to make you feel good. You need confirmation that this is compatible. And the impatience leads to incompatibility. Look, I know I'm not credited, I'm not studied in this stuff. But when you look at, like, you'll hear, even if you talk to someone in their 40s and stuff, right? How dating and relationships used to be, a lot of them were gradual builds up. Like, men had to actually court. They actually had to put in time. They actually had to be worth the shit. You know, they had to get permission from a family to marry them. You know, typically you ask her father out of respect. You know, nowadays, bro, it's like, fuck your father. I'm like, you're sucking my D. Well, what are we talking about? You know, that's unfortunately, like, that's just how it is. A lot of that respect of a deeper introspective, of a deeper potential connection. And one thing, and I've said this before, you cannot substitute anything with time. You know, if you're talking about stock market, time in the market always beats time in the market. Time and getting to know somebody always will beat what someone's adrenaline and emotions at a given time will tell you what you want to hear. And doesn't mean you can't have the honeymoon and love phase. Like, I hope you have it. Everyone should have it. Everyone should know what that feels like. But the reality is that intense feeling goes. Not the intense feeling that you don't care about someone, but that irrational, I'm looking past all your shit. Because when real life, if your livelihood's at your hands, you're having kids with someone, you gotta think about, what is this person's genetic makeup? Does this person at risk for, and if we have kids, is he likely to have some type of disease, diabetes? Is he prone to this? Is he prone to that? Like, these are stuff that it's much more, you have to be more rational about it than just feeling it. And that takes time, and fortunately you get through those phases without any drastic consequences. Typically having a baby with someone. But relationships in the modern world expose impatience more than anything.